A sprinkle, like the breaking news.
It's like, all right, what are you doing today? I think I'm going to stay home. Oh, I'll probably go into work at around noon. I'll be back by 3.
It's dangerous out there. It's wet.
That's the way LA is, man.
It's dangerous out there. It's wet.
Keyshawn, J. Will, Zubin, presented by Progressive Insurance. This is interesting, fellas. For the first time since week 6, and here we are, 6-7 weeks later. For the first time since week 6, we didn't have a Thursday night game last night. You had mentioned yesterday you were flipping around, waiting for a Thursday night game.
I didn't know what, because it originally was one scheduled, obviously, and they moved it.
Right.
And I didn't catch them moving it because they done moved so much. They're moving it back and forth. They move it to this day. And you're like, okay, then they move it again. So when I was looking yesterday, I was like, okay, what do I do? Go home, get something to eat, wait for the game to come on. I couldn't find anything. I couldn't even find college football. But I did watch USC lose to UConn in basketball, but, whatever.
It's
fine.
It's USC basketball.
We got the Mobley brothers.
See, you were joking with my team the other day when we lost to a top 10 team. And you guys lost, so. Yeah.
I guess UConn's a good basketball program still. I don't know, but we lost to them, and I owe Dan Orlovsky $100. I'm going to give it to him in all ones.
Danny Hurley's the coach there. He's doing a hell of a job.
Yes, and Dan went to UConn, Dan Orlovsky. Quick couple things we should mention. USC is a young kid named Edmund Mobley. Keep that name in mind. He's an outstanding dynamite young player.
I didn't know which one it was because it's 2 of them. And they're brothers. Mm-hmm. One of them was Evan Mobley, and the other one was...
Keep an eye on Evan, though. Keep an eye on Evan.
It's Evan the one. Because I could. The other one, I was like, off air. We'll have that conversation off air. I was like, okay.
And that game that Key mentioned that was supposed to be last night was going to be Baltimore and Dallas. That game has been moved to Tuesday night football. So that said, we'll have games on Sunday night, Monday night, 2 games on Monday night, and a game on Tuesday night. That said, what's the biggest game y'all are looking forward to this Sunday?
I think for me, there's a couple that stand out for a lot of different reasons, but the one I think that is the ticket this weekend is the Cleveland-Tennessee game. Cleveland Browns, Tennessee Titans. Because Cleveland, they haven't made the playoffs since 2002, and they haven't been 10-6 since 2007. So when you look at that, how important is that for Cleveland to continue to move in the right direction under Kevin Stefanski? Now, you can say, well, and they need to prove, they need a big game, right? The one big game, they kind of got smashed against Baltimore. You could kind of, if you wanted to, preference the Indy game as a big game, I guess, based on how Indy played after that in Phillip Rivers. But in terms of a signature win, I think if they could take care of Tennessee, Jay Zubin, that's a signature win for Cleveland. Baker Mayfield's been playing solid football, doing a great job at not turning the football over, continuing to deliver it in sync to his players, allowing them to make plays for him. And so I think that is the way that they move forward in terms of the recipe. They won't win the division because Pittsburgh is not going to lose enough games for them to be able to do that. But they can at least finish in second place and get a wild card berth and possibly make some noise once they get into the playoffs.
Is there a part of you that is just waiting for the bottom to fall out with the Cleveland Browns? Are we waiting for the Browns to brown it?
No.
There's a history of the Browns browning it, right? So there is this me holding my breath, just kind of saying, all right, like, are they going to be able to do it? Like, this is a statement game for them against. I know who the Titans are to a degree. I've watched them. I know who Derrick Henry is. I know who Ryan Tannehill is. I've seen when Baker Mayfield play against Joe Burrow and throw for a lot of yards and a lot of touchdowns. I've seen them ground and pound, run the ball with Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb, and Kevin Stefanski, I think, has to start being in conversation for Coach of the Year. Not saying he's going to be the leading candidate, but he has to be in the conversation. But there is also a part of me that is saying, all right, is this going to be a typical Brown letdown game that we are expecting them to be next level? And they may not live up to that expectation. There's a part of me that wonders if that's going to happen this weekend.
If they win this game on Sunday, they move to 9-3. They haven't been 9-3 in a long time. And that is a step in the right direction. I think when you say they've been browning it, that's at the beginning of the year.
I'm saying there's a part of me that feels like they could brown this game. Like it could be a game.
They could,
because we're ready for them to arrive.
But even if they lost the game, I'm not going to kick them to the curb. Oh, here we go again. Even if they lost, because it all depends on how they lose. Do they get run over like Baltimore did them, or do they lose because it's a 48-yard field goal with a minute to go in the game? Like, do they lose like that?
Well, that's what I'm saying. But they haven't had a signature win, and there's a part of me that it feels like the ceiling for the Browns is higher than the ceiling for the Titans, just because I think Baker Mayfield can be the X factor. What Baker Mayfield are you going to get? Like, if they start, especially if they get behind in this ball game, right, due to the style, like, Baker's going to have to make throws. Now, look, the Titans have the 5th worst pass defense there is in the league. Like, there are going to be opportunities for him to do that. I just feel like this team can excel. They can go to a different level depending if Baker can take his game to the different level.
Well, it's not all on Baker. This is it's not about Baker Mayfield in this football game. It's about the entire organization and the team willing to take the next step to go to 9-3. If they fall behind for some apparent reason, and he has to now go away from the way that he's been playing, and they have to go away from the way he's been playing over the last several weeks, then we'll see what Baker Mayfield is. Do you start to get into him throwing the ball 35 plus times because they're down by 10 points? Just depends on how the flow of the game goes. I honestly, if they lost this game and they still played okay, that still encourages me because the program is moving forward. If they get run out of the building, then I would say, okay, they got a long ways to go. But if there's a narrow victory by Tennessee, then I look at it a little bit different for them.
I'm not going to throw them out the window, Zubin, if they lose. I'm just saying I really want to see the Browns have a statement win, have a big boy win. Time to, like, we have arrived. We are here. Everybody else can say whatever the hell they want.
That's what has to happen, though, today. Sheesh. That's
Sunday.
what has to happen Sunday. They need a big boy win. But if for some reason, Jay, they don't win the game and lose it by a long field goal or two, not get run out of the building, it still has some encouragement there because they've been so bad for so long. It still shows you, okay, they're headed in the right direction. They just haven't crossed the bridge yet. That's all I'm saying.
It's one of 2 interesting games that are on the docket this weekend, and that's kind of our poll question today. Who needs a win more to prove themselves? The Browns at the Titans, 1 o'clock Eastern on Sunday. The guys just talked about it. Or the Cardinals when they take on the Rams. Litmus test games for both Cleveland and Arizona. Which one needs a win to prove themselves to you more? Be a part of the Keyshawn, Jabel, and Zubin Nation on the Dr. Pepper Twitter feed. ESPN Nation presented by Dr. Pepper. It's official. College football's back. So is your favorite Dr. Pepper-loving college football town, Fansville. Head to a store near you to treat your inner college football fan to an ice-cold 20-ounce Dr. Pepper. Today, I would just say since 2009, the Browns have had 7 general managers. Since 2009, the Browns have had 8 head coaches. They are relatively drama-free this week, this year. That's 17, by the way. Yes. Wow. If you combine the general managers and head coaches since 2009, there have been 17 people in those particular positions. Think about